This is BreakmanX, and welcome to the game show on March 12th, 2025. How's it going, Jack?
It's going great. It is March Madness. It is officially March Madness. Big 12 SEC tournaments are underway. There's basketball like 11 o'clock to midnight for the next 3 weeks. It's fantastic.
It is exciting. It's very nice. Lots of intenseness going on. And Maul has returned. The dark side of the Force looms. How are you doing?
Hey guys, I am all right. I'm living here in the shadows, lurking, if you will. Glad to be back with you for a bit.
Lurk it up.
Glad to have you back.
Yes, very glad to have you
Thank
back. It was exciting when you popped in. And Logan, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing fantastic. I can't wait to hopefully finally finish up this list, and I'm excited to share my trailer with everyone tonight finally.
If we don't finish it today, I'm just gonna say there's something like severely wrong with us because it is not a long list going forward. So let's hope. Okay, I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna do it. Unless Darria screws it up. How's it going, Darria?
Pretty good. No, there's a lot of games coming up that I am excited to talk about, and some notable mentions I have in addition to those. So yeah, I'm excited to get going on everything tonight.
Yes. No, I'm super excited to hear your thoughts on Control, especially when we get into the Control area. So the game show is a celebration of video games and our collective interests mixed with a healthy dose of humor while bringing in our favorite people in the game and movie industries on as guests. Tonight, we have a ghost. But very exciting, tonight, we are debuting the trailer of Logan's upcoming film. Logan, before we play it, would you like to give any kind of an information? Or do you just want to dive in? Okay, go ahead.
So I won't give too much about the story, but this has kind of been a big project for me because it started as really like the first big film I did after transitioning to film from game design. It's kind of a love letter to both of those passions for me because I was taking all of my background with game design and Unreal Engine and applying it to filmmaking and the VFX of it all. So all of the VFX has been animated in Unreal. And I just think it's a really cool blend that I'm excited to share it with everyone.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited too. I have not seen the trailer yet. I want to have a live reaction to it, and I'm super stoked to check it out. So without any further ado, before we hop back into our infinite list, let's check out Edge of Oblivion.
The black hole is one of the most extreme environments out there. And if one thing goes wrong, your whole station would be down. And that would be it.
Promise.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah. That's freaking awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So out there, if anyone, by the way, if you want to comment on Logan's movie Edge of Oblivion or any of the things we're going to talk about, go to breakmanx.com, hit us up on the Discord, or comment below the video that you're watching right now. Either way works fine. Let's talk about this. So I don't want to give anything. I've seen the movie, and it's really fantastic. I guess I can say that. I'm sorry, I should have asked first.
Oh yeah, you're good.
That's the only thing. That's
Spoilers, it's great.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'll really say about it is it's really, really good. I saw a few cuts of it, and then you've tweaked it a little bit since. Obviously, the visual effects look amazing. I mean, everyone can see that. But beyond that, the performances are really good, and there's a lot of good to it. Again, I don't want to give too much away. Jack, what did you think seeing it, your first little glimpse?
I mean, it's amazing how awesome you can do VFX, even for live action integration with Unreal Engine. I mean, Logan, congrats, man. That looks fantastic. I'm
so
excited
much.
to watch it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Maul, what do you think?
Yeah, same thing. The visuals, fantastic. Really, really impressive for like, was it a one-man show?
Yeah, the visual effects were all me, but I had a great team of people helping me with this because like it was really my first big project, so I needed all the help I could get with figuring out everything on set because it's my first big like directing gig. Like I had an awesome friend of mine, Gabe Reichert, who composed like all the music for the project, so all of that is original. I've got like a great friend, Luke Parrott, who was behind the camera, and another friend, Luke Schrader, who helped matching all the lighting. Like this was such a group effort to make happen.
Right. Well, still, just even with that, just directing and all the visual compositing, everything you did with, is a lot of work, and so great job on that. And also, the actress's last name is Fruits, which I found very fun.
No, and I'm so proud of them too. They were just like friends of mine. We like this was basically all just like a friend project. We all got together and just made, and yeah, they did such a good job.
And the posters behind
excellent.
Yeah, posters behind me.
Other side.
Others.
You're blocking it.
It's mirrored.
It's very nice. Very nice.
But you could mistake it for Star Wars.
You could, which is on the other wall.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's his other movie. And Darria, what do you think?
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, like the black holes and all of that is something that I find super, super interesting. So like just that imagery is really, really cool. How long did it take you to create all of those shots and integrate all of it?
Yeah. So there was 115 VFX shots. It's about a 10-minute movie. And I really started like even before we shot the film because I did some previs beforehand and I used a lot of I just kind of improved a lot of the assets that I created for that initial previs. So really it took about a year and 2 months to get all of it done. And starting back in March of 24, it was basically just like constant VFX work.
Which visual effects shot took you the longest to create?
Actually, I think it was probably the generator explosion. I was working on at a rate of like a couple shots a day by the time I got down to compositing. There was a solid few months in there where I was like modeling like the interior of the ship, and that took a very long time. But the generator shot is like the longest individual shot to create. It took a while to like line up the dolly zoom and make it so that it would look, because I was kind of like breaking space a little bit there with that. Like I made it look like it was a longer dolly zoom than it actually could be to physically match like the framing I wanted. So lining that up was difficult, and like figuring out the simulation for the explosion was rough. But I'm so proud of how that one turned out.
So when you were building all of these shots, like were there assets that you had to like find to create with, or were those ones that you created from scratch?
I did find Greeble packs to build the ship. I like took a card out of ILM's playbook for Star Wars. And so I used a lot of Greeble assets for it, but all the designs, like ultimately the way everything is combined is original. And like I had to model that meteorite was a total like scratch model. I programmed the black hole as like a ray marching shader. Although I didn't totally invent the shader myself. I had to do some research on putting that together. But I did write all the code in the end.
Oh wow.
And yeah, all the like monitors in the room were designed by me, animated in After Effects.
Oh, wow.
Again, using some supplementary tutorials. Like the tutorials are so great. The internet is such a
Yes, they are.
fantastic resource.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, ultimately everything is my design.
That's fantastic.
Can I ask a space nerd question? And if it goes into spoiler territory, feel free to say no. But do you have explosions in space, or is it actually just kind of poof and then just
There's no fire in space.
All right. Way to hold on to those physics, man. That's awesome.
Very
I love
nice.
physics.
Well, I'm very.
Yeah, the fire in space worked for Return of the Jedi. It's good enough for a short film, okay? Jeez.
I'm with Maul. I'm with Maul. Just, Star Wars. But I'm very proud, seriously, to play that trailer on the show. It's a really fantastic trailer. The movie itself is really awesome. I can't wait to play it at the Wi-Fi Film Festival, which you should all come down to.
Yeah.
12.
Right. I was gonna
for the
ask
premiere.
next, what's your release schedule like? Are you doing like festival scenes, or is it an online release? Because some of us need a way to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be going through festivals first. And yeah, the Wi-Fi Festival is going to be the first one. I'm going to be spreading out as far as I possibly can. And I will be sharing updates on what festivals we make it into on my socials, which is like Instagram and Facebook, and then my YouTube channel as well. And then after that, it's probably going on my YouTube channel unless like something crazy happens and it like
Something crazy is
goes
gonna
somewhere
happen.
else. But
It's really
yeah.
good.
So I have another question. Did you learn Unreal Engine as a part of your gaming degree, or
No.
how did-
Yeah, so I have actually been doing game design since like 6th grade. And have been like learning. I started with Unity, and then in high school I started experimenting with Unreal and was like fully moved over to it about senior year of high school, because I preferred the way like the material system worked, because Unity was like starting to break it down into different pipelines, and I just didn't vibe with that too much. But in college, we did focus on Unreal in our classes, but I was kind of already doing a lot of that stuff on my own anyway, just through YouTube tutorials. Like, again, it's crazy how much you can learn online for free now.
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really fabulous. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so excited to premiere the movie at the festival too. But yeah, it's awesome. It's a great movie. Can't wait for folks to see it. Logan did a absolutely phenomenal job on it.
Thank you.
Getting over a bit of the flu, so every once in a while my voice is like, you're not going to talk. But it's probably just because we're about to talk about the Vita. I don't know why that would be. But we are going to talk about the Vita now. Jumping back into our massive list that is now the 4th episode of the best games ever. Again, undisputed. No one can argue with the list. Every single pick on here is completely and totally right. Except, we used to call this the We're Wrong Awards. So, the Vita, I love the Vita. I thought it was a really cool. I love the PSP too, but I just thought the Vita was a cool system. I remember being at the Maul, were you at the Sony press conference with us when Jane's Addiction played?
I wasn't there for that. I think I would remember that if I saw it.
Well, it was just kind of interesting because it's like, so they show like, I think it was like the PlayStation 3D TV, and then they showed a bunch of stuff, and then they showed the Vita, and everyone was mad about the price, and then it was like, everyone come down and party, and like it opened up, and like Jane's Addiction was like playing in the middle of like everyone, and it's one of those bizarre like E3 things that it's just like, why is this happening? Like I can't.
Yeah, I feel like I must have been. Was that like a day one thing?
Yeah, it was probably
did that?
yeah. The Sony conference is usually like day one.
Super early. I feel like I must have come in like that night or something and had missed it. 'Cause I remember I was definitely there the year the 3D TV.
You were there. The free food.
was
Do you
there.
remember the free food? You're in the video.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the
So
same
then
one.
they had like the food trucks outside.
Yeah. So Sony had like a bunch of food trucks from LA. You go around and get whatever food you wanted. This is not about.
How do I not remember Jane's Addiction though?
I don't know how you don't remember, because I was irritated by it because I wanted to hear the Vita. and I couldn't hear the Vita because Jane's addiction is playing like in my eardrum. It was really cool that they played. To be honest with you, it was.
I don't know. Maybe I. Well, I guess I can say that I saw them at some point. I don't remember it at all. If anybody asks,
the food made the impression. Apparently, their performance wasn't great, but
I was engrossed with the 3D TV.
There you go. But I remember going and I remember playing it, and I remember playing. It was, I think, one of the Patapons. Is there a Patapon? Yeah.
I don't think there was one on the Vita, but I could be wrong.
There was a rhythm game that we played. I'm trying to remember which one it was. When one of y'all are talking, I'll look it up. But there was a rhythm game, and there was an Uncharted game, I believe, that we played.
I think did they release Gitaroo Man on that also?
I can't remember. I wish, because it was really good and I liked it. But I just remember, I mean, it was basically the PSP, but like more powerful. And I used to joke on the show that it was the Port Authority because it had a lot of ports coming over from various systems, which used to really irritate fans of the system. And I apologize for that because I love the Vita. I didn't mean anything bad by it. I like the ports on it. But anyway, so many great games on the Vita, and just a really, really cool system. And ultimately, I can still remember setting mine up. That was a fun day. But I remember the game that I'm going to go with is East 4, Memories of Salsita. And hopefully I'm saying that right. But it was a really fun. I love the E series in general. They're all, not all, a lot of them are really good games that I enjoy quite a bit. So it was fun to have a portable one. They're actually, I think I saw Salsita is going to come out in the, they're going to do the not remake, but kind of remaster type thing for the modern consoles. So you'll have a chance to play it if you don't have it on the Vita or on Steam already.
Very cool.
But I mean, it's an easy game. It's going to have great music, and it's going to have some fun action RPG elements, and a story that maybe I'm not super into, but isn't terrible. That's kind of how East is for me. Not my favorite East game, but it's a really good one, and I'm happy I got to play it on the Vita. Velveeta. Jeez.
I will say, I mean, say what you want about Sony's consoles, but they always look fantastic. Like they always look like a good piece of tech that you're like,
it is.
I should show this off.
They have my favorite design, except for the PS5. And I don't hate the PS5 like some people do, but it's definitely not my favorite. But no, I think Sony always does such a good job with it. I remember actually learning about how Steve Jobs talked to Sony about using Mac OS on Sony laptops, because that was the one company that he thought like had the design sense of Apple. And also the Walkman was what inspired the iPod. He liked Sony a lot.
Wow.
So he agreed with you, Jack. You and Steve.
You know, we say that, but I wasn't a big fan of the 3 design either. I remember it's making fun of it as being like a giant black George Foreman grill.
It was.
Yeah, it kind of was.
That's actually probably my least favorite of all the designs. Even
I
less
tell
than
the
5.
The later, the streamlined one they came out with, you know, when the Pro or whatever they called the second rendition of it was smaller. That was fine, but the first one was
gorgeous. I love the way the PS2 looks, and then the PS1 is a work of art. I mean, it's like ridiculous. It's just perfect. But Jack, on the Vita, what are you going with?
So this probably goes to show you what I think of most of the Vita's library, so please don't throw too many stones, but my favorite game was Wake Up Club. Like, honestly, it was just a little app. It was very, very cheap, but all it was basically an alarm clock, and you could set it up with all your friends on your PlayStation Network, and you could all set alarms at the same time, and basically the first person to wake up got an achievement. It was awesome. And there were like 20 achievements associated with that.
I was gonna say, I don't know, maybe that would actually help me get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Actually,
that was the whole thing.
I might.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like I said, it's not even really a game. It's just a little alarm clock, but it was really cool at the time. And you know, while I did have a Vita, that was like really the only thing I used it for like, I don't know, maybe 18 months. It was
It's a good investment. It's great.
I might as well go ahead and get one of those Alarmos because I think the Alarmo would be better than Wake Up Club.
Oh my gosh. Any Vita fan out there is going to get you. But they also haven't made a portable system since, so. But, well, I guess it doesn't count. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going to count it. I'm not going to count it. I'm not gonna count it. Wake Up Club. All right. The legendary game. Talking about the halls of video games.
Wouldn't have thought.
All right. Maul, what's your pick?
Well, my pick was one from the Port Authority, as you had called it earlier.
The Port Authority. People got so mad.
No, I picked Odin Sphere though. I will say I didn't delve like super deep into the Vita's library, but Odin Sphere was always an RPG I really enjoyed. It was just different. It could get a little repetitive in the way the combat was laid out, but it was interesting that it was a 2D like side scroller mixed with like active time and JRPG kind of elements to it, and at the same time, like just it used a different mythology for the basis for its its story and gameplay, and just really interesting, really intricate, detailed character work, and I really just have a a really strong memory of when you get kind of closer to the end of the game and just using that kind of like Ragnarok bit of mythology when the world serpent like bursts out of the earth, and it's just like winding and flowing through layer upon layer of the background behind you, and just how epic that felt. So that one always kind of stuck with me and was an RPG I definitely remember.
Yeah, it had some really great sprite work if I remember correctly.
It did.
Yeah, super detailed. Yeah.
Well, very different. It always reminded me initially of Zelda 2. It had the side-scrolling RPG.
Yeah, honestly, that's a fair comparison. Yeah.
But no, I loved Odin Sphere 2. I played it on the PS2, and then I think I bought it like 2 or 3 times since. Because it's a really cool, it's a school game. I probably have it for the Vita too.
Yeah. Well, when I say with the Vita as well, it just was, at least at the time, easier to find on there as well, because it was one that was a very, as with a lot of JRPGs, had a huge ravenous fandom, and yet you could not find them anywhere, and they're all overpriced on the secondary market. So the Vita was a reasonable option for a lot of folks.
Yeah, that was when I pre-ordered and got it on day one because I wasn't sure I'd be able to get it otherwise.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Nice pick. All right. So Logan and Darria are abstaining because they seethe in hatred.
Never had a
for the
Vita.
Don't worry, Logan. No one else did either. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I worked at a game store. It's the only reason I played a few of these portables. Sit at the counter and play them between customers. Great time.
Yeah, and I loved my Game Boy so much. I wanted the PlayStation, any one of the PlayStation like portable consoles.
I just love the design. I just think they look beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
They should also make games for them.
They're also coming up on my marketplace quite a lot right now.
It's because you're talking
On
about
Facebook.
Wow, yeah, they listen.
They're offloading them.
So
I still have my. It also, no one here would ever do it, but you can hack them and do some very interesting
it.
things.
I say you're gonna have to here pretty soon because those batteries, just like the PlayStation Portable, those batteries are lithium ion. Yeah. So you have to replace them at some point.
They're spooky.
yikes.
I had to go in and
I better
rip
get
out
hold of Voltar and have him
Yes.
mod one for you.
Yeah.
I had to go in and there's a ticking time bomb on the original Xbox. There's a capacitor that will like literally explode. It's the time. I think it's the timekeeping one. But I went in and ripped it out before I can get it. I'm gonna get it restored at some point pretty soon.
Smart.
But moving on to potentially the greatest system of all time. One that Wake Up
categories.
Club would never appear on. Nintendo Wii U. Now, we say that and we joke, and it sold really poorly. I think it's Nintendo's worst selling system outside of like the Virtual
Yeah.
Boy.
I was gonna say Virtual Boy for sure.
Like it's like But is Virtual Boy really a real system? Oh my god, people are getting mad at that.
We skipped the Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
I don't.
There's
Dang
good
played
reason
one
for that,
Virtual
man.
Boy game. Two. I played two, and actually, so Try
You've
has
actually played
said
any?
some positive things about it. So there's some things. Weezer Jedi had a Virtual Boy. I played a couple times. I have a penchant for migraines, and so I always thought like I'm gonna get a massive headache if I play this thing. So I kind of steered clear of it. It'd be interesting to play some of those games, not just Red.
Yeah. Sorry, some of them are okay. Like Tolero Boxer was all right.
That's all that stuck out to me. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the tennis was like you're right. Just the 3Dness was cool, but like man, that Red, it wasn't just the Red. It was how to get your head into the screen without like you couldn't just lay down and have it set on top of you because the dang thing was too heavy. And you couldn't. There was just no good way to play it.
They had like a deal with neck surgeons.
Something like that. Yeah.
No,
I think the 3DS was a response to the Virtual Boy. Just
oh, you know what, Logan? We didn't do yours, but we should do the write-ins.
yeah.
Chat.
Well, there's a few from Fenris. Fenris says, I never had a Vita, but I did play with the Vita TV. I would say my favorite Vita game was Persona 4 Golden, although I did spend some time playing Corpse Party Blood Drive on it.
Ooh,
But what I remember the most about the Vita was that one article where you can tell the writer was a hardcore Sony fanboy and was dunking on the 3DS while praising the Vita, all before it even
At
released.
E3, that was so rampant. Oh my god, when they showed the PSP and the Vita, it was like, suck it, Nintendo. And Nintendo just like laughed all the way to the bank.
That was like every E3.
It was every
Other than-
E3.
Other than I guess the Wii U one, but so everyone just dunking on Nintendo, while those of us who, I don't know, kind of knew the market maybe a little better, were like, no, guys, this is money.
And Nintendo's printed it, except for a couple gens, but for the most part.
And then another
Keep
from
going.
Fenris, the OG PS3 with the Spider-Man font was awesome. Which, yes, it was. Storm Eagle says, I believe the only games I played on the Vita was the FFX HD remaster of Metal Gear Solid HD collection that had MGS2 and MGS3. That's it.
That FFX HD remaster is pretty cool, but they changed the character models pretty significantly. Or I don't know. But it's good. It's good.
Fenris also says the super capacitor is known to go out on the OG Xbox V1 through V1.5.
Yeah, I have the Halo edition, so it was definitely, I had to rip it out. It had already kind of oozed, so I had to fix it. By the way, I got, it's not going to show. I got, there we go. I got the
there it
Retro
is.
Fighters
Nice.
Nice.
original Xbox controller, and I like this better than the official Xbox ones.
Cool.
It has some really good rumble to it. I love their controllers, and they're not paid, so they're just actually good.
And then last two for now. Fenris says, I was born the same week the Virtual Boy launched in the USA. That's crazy. And
I like you better than the Virtual Boy.
Aw.
I bet he gets that a lot.
His favorite game on it is Wario Land.
Okay, that's the other one I
Yeah.
played. I played Wario Land and the Tennis one. Tennis one, not so much. Wario Land was okay. I need to play it when it's not all red. Okay, so back to the Wii U, as we used to say on the show. So it sold terribly. It's kind of a laughing stock in a way. However, I will say I've had an extraordinarily amount of fun with the Wii U, and I was listening to someone talk about it. It might have been Voltar. I can't remember who it was. Someone was talking about how it's actually the graphics part of it was actually better than most people get it credit for, and could actually do some pretty interesting things for the amount of horsepower it had. Voltar is a big Wii U person for sure. I know that. But I, definitely not my favorite Nintendo system. But I've had an extraordinary amount of time with it, and I've played many, many hours with it. And it's really the system that got my kids into games, which I will transition to then Nintendo Land. Nintendo Land. I saw Nintendo Land at E3, and I was literally like, "What is this? This looks like something I would not care about at all." Like I had zero interest in it. People were even. I think Eric Robbins was like, "Yeah, you should give it a try. It's cool. They have like a Metroid game and some stuff." And to me, it just looked like exactly what I didn't want Nintendo to do at the time. I wanted them to go back into, the classic Nintendo stuff that I loved, and not towards the more family-oriented stuff. So I was initially pretty disappointed by that, and but ended up playing it, and I have done. It's what got my kids into games. Playing the Luigi's Mansion game, especially. That's a huge family favorite. All of us play it together. BreakmanX as well. We play it. The Mario Chase game. We play that all the time. Really, all the games, but those are probably the two that we play the most. And then we also do like the train, where you play all of them. But this is the game that got every single one of them into games. So as much as I doubted it and talked trash, if I ever put any of those shows up, I talked a lot of trash in Nintendo Land. I was wrong. It's a lot of fun, and it does the thing that Nintendo does sometimes, where they do something that seems really out of left field and bizarre, and sometimes like maybe too family friendly. And it actually ended up being really, really fun. So, again, I never would have thought that I would have said something like that, but I ended up really enjoying Nintendo Land, like a lot, way more than I would have thought.
I will say it gets a bad rap, but like Nintendo is definitely great at putting out a piece of software that shows off what the hardware can do, like from a technical standpoint. Like between Wii Sports and Nintendo Land, and even 1-2 Switch for all its faults. Like it definitely shows you what those systems can do, and there's good reason that those things launched with those systems, and obviously Nintendo Land with the pack-in, but like some of the games aren't terribly deep, but hey, you get a really good sense of what's capable with the system.
And Luigi's Mansion was, I mean, we talked about the SNES last time with F-Zero, but Luigi's Mansion, go back and play the original Luigi's Mansion on GameCube. Like it still looks pretty good. And the amount of effects and everything they pulled off on it was pretty amazing. Again, that was a game where I was like, I want a Mario game. I don't want to catch ghosts with Luigi. Like, what is this? But I ended up really liking Luigi's Mansion. So again, I've kind of learned that Nintendo's probably going to do things I like, even if I don't like it first. I'm just that's just how it is from here on out. But Jack has a really great choice. Another game I've sunk a lot of time into.
Yeah, this one was actually kind of tough. Like I've got a fair amount of Wii U games just because I actually had one, and there wasn't a whole bunch coming out for it, but I made sure I got the ones I wanted. But my favorite is Mario Kart 8. Like I don't know if any of you get this feeling, but like when you sit on the menu screen and it goes through its little, tune, and then all of a sudden it stops, and then it busts into the jazz rendition of the original Super Mario Kart theme song, and I'm like literally tearing up watching it. And just like, okay, I can wait just another minute or two before I start playing.
Dude, I haven't done that in a while.
That game hit me hard, and what's awesome is it's a great Mario Kart game. I mean, it's still got all the Mario Kartness, like blue shells, all the kind of the BS that if you're in first place right at the end will knock you out of first place. But it's still Mario Kart. It's still awesome, and I think it's probably the best playing Mario Kart game since probably Double Dash.
I agree.
In my opinion,
I agree. We've played it a lot on the Switch. We did play a lot on the Wii U too. But
I mean, that was the perfect game to re-release first on the Switch, because nobody played it because it was on the Wii U, and it was amazing.
Yep. No, it's I agree. It's the best since Double Dash. I like it better than Double Dash. It's probably my favorite Mario Kart since the first one, I would have to say.
Yep.
So, and it looks nice. And then when you have 4 people on screen, it chugs. But it does looks pretty nice for Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And Maul, you have a really really great one quick thing. So Mario Kart, there was a study. Mario Kart is supposedly the most stressful game to play. of any game.
Really?
It will stress you out.
I can see that.
It
beyond-
stresses me out.
I know. I know. I've seen you get
I
stressed
love
out
it
with
though.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing I should mention about the Wii U before I forget is there's a time bomb in those too. With the memory, if you have the Hynix memory, check out Voltar.com. He has a really cheap fix for it that you can solder in yourself or hire someone to do. But you definitely want to back up your NAND with your save games and all of your info on there, because those Wii U's the memory will eventually not be good. So if you back it up before that, then you can eventually use Voltar's fix at any point, or you can just do it now. But if you're, I did that because, our kids, like, we have all of their Nintendo Land stats going back since to like 2013. Like,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Man.
All right. Sorry, Maul. Into
No,
a
that's
really,
fine, man.
really fabulous game.
Because you can talk about the Wii U. We can talk about, like, it was just, Jack, it's interesting that you have so many games for it. It's just a really underdeveloped system.
Yep.
And I say that, kind of lovingly, because when we were at E3 and they debuted it, we were like really happy with it. Like, the first demos were cool.
Oh, yeah.
And the videos they had showing off like what the system was going to eventually be able to do were really interesting. And I feel like they never quite unlocked all the stuff they were planning on giving us with the system. And the third party support wasn't there, as always. Nintendo making something cool that the rest of the industry is like, that's a lot of work, like, do you want to do that? So, but anyway, that just meant the good games are going to be from Nintendo themselves. My pick, no difference. Super Mario 3D World, just a solid, I guess platformer. Yeah, it was a return more to the Super Mario 64 style. I like that it incorporated elements of like Super Mario Brothers 2 into it, because you had the 4 or unlockable 5th like character to choose from, and they had return back to like Luigi jumping higher and Peach being able to hover and everything. Just the things we associate with the characters that not every iteration of the series does necessarily. It does get pretty challenging when you get later in the game, and the 3D platforming can get a little wonky. But despite that, still a real solid entry in the series. I know a favorite for some folks who actually gave it a shot. If you missed out on the Wii U iteration, don't worry. They keep porting these games forward, so you can buy it again on your Switch or what have you.
Hooray.
Great choice. I saw a list, and I don't think it's the best Mario game, but I think it's an awesome Mario game. But I have seen lists that put it at number 1 for like the best Mario game of all time.
I know there's some folks who do. It's not my fave, but it's good though. It's very good.
I'm with you. Yeah, I like it a lot, and I think it's awesome. But it's definitely not my favorite of the Mario games. But that's another one with the kids. We played that so much with all of the kids, and the fighting with the, especially when it got harder, with the power ups and all that, got pretty intense. But that's a really fun one. And I know we're not going to mention New Super Mario Brothers U, and I'm not the biggest fan of the New Super Mario series. They're probably my least favorite Mario games. However, I will say I have amazing memories with New Super Mario Brothers U. When I first moved back from LA, beating it with my niece Molly, we played through the entire game that Christmas, and that was a lot of fun. So I will always have really treasured memories with that game. That would probably be my number 2 for that. Logan is abstaining. We'll go to the chat after we get Darria's pick.
I think this is the only game that I've played on the Wii U because of Break, but it is also Nintendo Land. Being able to play with the kids and go through Luigi's Mansion, it's just super fun. And as kids, I don't know, but the kids argue and all of that, and it was always an experience.
It gets intense.
It does.
Which
it does.
of the Nintendo Land games is your favorite?
Ooh, honestly, probably Luigi's Mansion.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got Darria's pretty competitive. But so are we.
Yeah.
we were. I can't take anything away. But
I
it was,
am.
those games got intense. Of like, the ghosts, finding the ghosts.
Yep.
But it's kind of in a weird way an evolution of Pac-Man. I mean, I know that it's different, but like going around in the maze, and with the ghosts, and and I don't know. It always kind of reminded me of that. And since Nintendo tried that multiplayer Pac-Man on GameCube that they started giving away for free eventually, which I still have.
I still have
think
mine
this
too.
is- yeah. A better.
We should do that for some content.
Oh yeah. We should
If
do
there's a way I
it.
can get my hands on it, I'll play it.
Let's do it. LAN party. Oh, wait, you can't LAN GameCube. Everyone here together
I mean, we
party.
I mean, that sounds great. I'd do it.
Let's do it. I would be.
Pac-Man.
You could
One of my
land a
favorite games.
GameCube back in the day.
You could, yeah. There was the whatever software. And there's some
Yeah.
stuff you could still play Phantasy Star Online on the GameCube. There's
That's what we used to play. Yep.
some servers, which is another game. We're not on my GameCube, but that's another game I loved. I played more of it on the Dreamcast, but it was a cool one with that. But I'm glad the Wii U is getting some love. I know it's again a system that did not sell well, and it's one that a lot of people laugh at, but it did have some really quality games on it.
I think the branding just killed it. Like Nintendo really messed up on the marketing for that thing. Like if it had been Wii 2 or
Super Wii.
Super Wii or something, I don't know why you call it Wii. Like nobody knew what. Hey, can I play my Wii games on the Wii U?
I thought they should have called it
like
Super Nintendo. No one agreed with me, and I don't think anyone ever will. Logan, let's hit up the chat.
Yeah. Now, before I get into the chat, I will say I abstained from the list, but I did actually play a little Wii U, and the reason why I abstained is because my favorite game was Mario Kart 8, which I will talk about in the Switch section.
Nice.
Yeah. I just think that the Switch adds some stuff that really elevates that version of the game, so I'll talk about it there.
I look
I thought you were going to. I did play the Wii U, but I hated all the games. So.
every single game.
It's hard to hate Mario Kart. Anyway.
I'm so happy. How do you? Oh.
Exactly. So, Fenris says, the Wii U is interesting. I bought my first unit from a coworker and played a lot of Wind Waker HD and Smash 4 on it. But my favorite memories with the Wii U are when me and a close friend would play. I remember us trying to beat the hardest Super Mario Maker levels on it, and when I had him play Star Fox Zero on day one, since his favorite game is Star Fox 64, it was hilarious seeing his reactions.
Okay,
Oh,
just
I
for a
bet
second
he
here, we
was-
got to talk
oh.
about Star Fox Zero. Because I love Star Fox. Star Fox is one of my favorite series. By the way, there's the original programmer of Star Fox is releasing a game,
Oh yeah.
Wild Blue. I posted it in the Discord under video games, so you should go wishlist that if you like Star Fox. But I love Star Fox. I love the original. Actually, originally I didn't like it because I was against polygons for a while. But then I ended up really liking it. But Star Fox 64, I love Star Fox 64. That's one of my favorite games of all time. I just think it's super, super well done. And then, you have the DS ones, and the 3DS remake was pretty good. But Zero, like, the control on that, I was so excited for a new Star Fox game. And people were saying, like, oh, it's not, it's terrible and all this stuff. But I'm like, it's Star Fox. Like, how bad can it be? It can be bad. It can be really, really bad. The weird perspectives. I don't know if anyone here has played it, but the weird perspectives on the pad versus the TV. I was so like, of the Wii U, that's probably the game I was most disappointed in.
Yeah, and poor Star Fox too. He's just like, for one of their core series and characters, like, what a weird rocky road that franchise has had. Where you got like the original great 64 great. You had the
Star Fox 2
part
that was
2
canceled too.
Yeah, which was Ken, but they did put it out on
That mini
the micro NES or Super Nintendo, which is an interesting choice there. And then, but yeah, nothing on the Wii, like the biggest system. Could have used the motion control for something.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Huge missed
Well,
opportunity.
GameCube, we had the one where you're on a dinosaur planet running around.
Hey, they had Assault.
Yeah, they did have Assault.
Oh yeah. I
Assault's
did
not
forget
bad.
about that.
Which
yeah.
Assault wasn't like terrible, but it was like you have Star Fox at home. Like it wasn't quite like on the level of Star Fox. It was like best choice Star Fox.
Yeah. Thank God he's remained relevant through Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I was saying,
Because so many of their characters get lost.
what's the Ubisoft flying game that they put all of the Star Fox
Oh,
into?
yeah. Let me look that up. I remember
On the
that.
Switch early on.
Yep. Sound like Slippy.
If only I could look it up on the internet.
I'm googling it. Starlink.
Was it
Is
like
that it? No,
Star-
that's not it. That's too new.
But it's Starfield? No, it's not Starfield.
But with Starlink, you would just take off and then explode.
Oh, they do. Star Fox joins Ubisoft Starlink. Battle for Atlas.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I didn't think it was Starlink, but it is.
Okay.
Huh.
Is Starlink Battle for Atlas a Star Fox game? No, it's not, but I wish it was.
It's just a crossover.
Yep.
I actually
Okay.
liked Star Fox Adventures, though, okay. Certainly not like a...
Yeah, they're all okay. It's just like, you know, it's not necessarily what you want. Just like for years, I've
It's
had,
fine.
you know, like wanted more Mega Man. They keep shoving Battle Network down my throat.
Yeah.
And it's fine for fans of Battle Network, but it's not Mega Man, you know,
When we were
really.
playing the great twitchy side-scroller, we weren't like, I really want random battles, you know? I want to stop and insert a chip.
Yeah.
Sorry, Battle Network fans.
Yeah.
It's a good series. I'll never forget playing that GameCube game, though. I was so excited for Mega Man, and the screenshots even looked decent. And that was I think that was the first game we reviewed, Jack. There's a video of us reviewing it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We did.
Was it
we
that
did.
one or was it the collection?
No, we did. We might have done both, but we definitely did. I actually probably have it here somewhere. I will look. It's definitely on my computer,
Yeah.
but I can't do two things at once. So
No
I'll
worries.
try to find it for the end of the show. There's that flu.
Yeah.
But yeah, Star Fox, come back, do a good one. Do a
Yes.
good in Star Fox, please.
Just like F-Zero.
Yeah.
All right. So.
There's a couple other comments
Oh yeah,
here.
keep going. Keep going.
Storm Eagle says, best Wii U game was the Smash Wii U, but best virtual console game on it was Super Mario Advance 4. Super Mario Bros. 3 had it all of their e-reader card levels. That's
true.
cool. And then Fenris says, so Jack made a comment about Wind Waker HD was great. Surprised it hasn't gotten the Switch re-release. And Fenris responded, it's because Nintendo wants to wait until Switch 2. Probably.
The only thing I don't like about that one is the depth of field stuff they did. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
just thinking.
it's not great, but I think that was more of just tech. Like they were making it work somehow on the system.
But I love Wind Waker, so like any Wind Waker.
You know, actually, remind me real quick, guys. Was there a Zelda mainline release on the Wii U, or were they all ports?
No, there
the
was. Breath of the Wild was
Yeah, Breath of the
mainline,
Wild.
and it also released on Switch at the
It
same
was
time.
first.
Yeah, it was released
Oh.
on both consoles.
It was
yeah.
simultaneous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
And it was originally developed for Wii U, and then when the Switch started coming along, they just made it available for both.
We might have
Okay.
deleted the the Mega Man one.
Oh.
Oh,
Well, I
Because-
was just thinking like that because remember when we went to E3, as far as the Zelda thing, remember they had the tech demo, and it was like Link fighting against the giant spider creature in the cathedral, and it looked like like the same Link as like the first N64 one. So it was in that that style where it's like serious, like kind of grim, not animated at all Link, and everyone was like, shit, that's the system seller right there when that gets a full game, and that never happened.
and it was like, actually, no, we're gonna make it into a cartoon, and you'll like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a damn good game, but still, I remember that's what everybody was like, that's what we want,
Oh,
and that's what they never got.
Everyone was really upset about that, for sure.
Okay, last comment I've got here is Fenris again. Star Fox Adventure was still fun. It's Zelda plus Star Fox. I don't have any experience with Star Fox Adventure.
Yeah, the Mega Man one is gone. I have all the other ones. I might have to look for getting some other time. Because I have like I don't ever throw anything away.
Find it in a hard drive somewhere.
Oh,
It'll be somewhere. But I have the
actually,
Amplitude one. I have Wolfenstein. I have Enter the Matrix. I have there was a. We did a lot of them, Jack.
Yeah, we did. Return to Castle Wolfenstein was great.
Yeah, it was. It was fun. And that was when you made
Enter
fun of
the
my
Matrix.
Yeah.
which was deserved. All right, so let's move on to the PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4, really great system. I like Sony really. I mean, after the PS3, which eked out the 360, but the PS3, was a difficult system to develop for with the cell processor and all that. The PS4 becoming much more much easier to develop for and much more developer friendly. And looked like a rectangle. But, I just could not come up with a game for this system. There was just no game that I liked that much. So, I have to abstain. No, I'm kidding. No, I think, Darria, were you here when the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer teaser was first on?
Well, I think so, because I ended up, pre-ordering the deluxe edition because of you.
And you played the original Final Fantasy VII too.
I haven't completed it yet.
Well, no,
but I have. But I have made a good way through it.
No, I'm kidding. Nice. But so I have been talking about the Final Fantasy VII remake for a very, very long time, probably since Jack's time on the show. Logan and Darria can confirm because Logan and Darria have seen lots of old game show footage because they're doing that documentary. But I've been talking about it a lot for a while, guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mentioned it a lot of times, and I heard a lot of, "Oh, that's never going to happen." Nope, never going to happen. Never going to happen. And then we had the PlayStation 3. They did the demo. When they showed off the PlayStation 3, I was like, "Ha! There it is. It's going to happen." And Sony was like, "Nope, just kidding." I was so excited at that E3 when they showed that. I was so excited that it was going to finally happen, and it was such a tease. And then finally, when the Final Fantasy VII Remake teaser actually showed, it was like the fruition of so many hopes and dreams of mine that had been shattered throughout the years by no one thinking it was real, and Sony themselves throwing it in my face like some sort of taunt. And the trailer, I was like ecstatic. I bought a shirt. A Final Fantasy VII Remake shirt immediately when I saw the trailer. And I still have it. And I was so pumped, like beyond. Final Fantasy VII, like I said before, is my favorite game of all time. I wrote my thesis in undergrad on Final Fantasy VII. It's my favorite story of any story ever, of any medium. And I just really love that game. So I was beyond ecstatic that they're actually remaking it, and then they remade it in like this way over the top crazy way where like the first game is just Midgar. Like the whole first game is literally just barely the first part of the PlayStation original, which in the PlayStation original was really like my least favorite part, so I was a little bit like But no, it's really, really great. I could have done without a lot of the extra stuff that they put in there. I definitely like the original better. However, I think they did a really phenomenal job with it, and I think in terms of modernizing it for people, including people that aren't, people that were into the original, I think some of those changes were pretty necessary. And I also, even though some of the changes aren't things that I would do, I like that they took chances on things and they weren't so religiously rigid to just completely redoing it exactly how it was, when, you know, as being fan service would be a way that they could do that. But yeah, Darria, you watched me play about 3/4 of the remake too, didn't you? Yeah.
I
You
think
watched me play a
so.
lot of it.
Yeah, I watched you play it quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit. And you saw me gushing, like when something would happen that I would recognize, and be like, "Oh, I did the other game."
Yep.
Yep, exactly like that, right? So I was giddy the entire.
And then, if I remember right, I think you were also excited to get a PS5 because the upgrades and the different, in the quality and graphics.
Yep, and
from
some really nice
those
person let me
versions.
borrow their PS5 for a while, so I could play it on it until I got mine.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Daria.
Yep.
No, I could go on and on about the Final Fantasy VII remake. It was the legend foretold that finally happened. I was not disappointed, which I very much could have been disappointed. But I was in it from the beginning, and it is my favorite game on the PlayStation 4, and one of my favorite games of all time. Still not eclipsing the original. The original will always have that special place in my heart. But I think they did an absolutely phenomenal job.
And the score was really great too.
Oh my God. The music is so good. I bought the soundtrack. The very first soundtrack I ever bought was the original Final Fantasy VII soundtrack.
Nice.
I imported it from Japan. And it was the first. I did some chore. I cleaned my dad's office or something, which was a task. Like I earned that soundtrack. But yeah. So I've talked about that enough. Let's go on to Jax, and he will insult me by not picking that game.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
It's a great game, but it's just not my favorite on the system.
It's fine.
I know. So my favorite is Bloodborne. So I don't know how many people out there know, but I'm a huge Dark Souls, Elden Ring fan, and there's something about Bloodborne. It's kind of taken on mythical proportions. Like it's kind of the new Final Fantasy VII remake. Like, oh, they're gonna remake Bloodborne. Sony's having a press conference. They're gonna announce the next Bloodborne, and obviously none of that's. Yeah, none of that's come to pass yet. But Bloodborne, there's a reason it has a hold on everybody that is a big fan of both the Miyazaki games, like the Elden Ring, Demon Souls, Dark Souls games, is because it really switches up the formula. It encourages you to be aggressive, where most of the other games encourage you to be defensive. And on top of all that, you've got the Cthulhu / Elder Gods kind of thing stuff in the background. And as you play the game and as you get deeper into the game, things start changing. Like the world you believe you're working in all of a sudden changes, and it changes as you get deeper into this, and you're like, oh my God, what is going on? And so it's one of those games where I will replay it, maybe not every year, but like once every other year, because it is just so good. And I don't care if it gets, I would love to have it get re-released, because that game it really hurts watching it in 30 FPS now, because God, that game would look so beautiful in 60 frames per second. But like, it's one of my favorites. The boss battles are fun. The game world is awesome. The story for a Souls game is way better than it has any right to be. It's one of my favorites.
Okay, you just made me reinstall it on my PS5 while you were talking.
Yes.
It's
amazing.
I liked it.
It's excellent. It's excellent.
It is excellent. Maul, you can also dishonor me by not picking Final Fantasy VII Remake.
True. Well, because I was gonna say, Break, you were talking about how like people hurt your feelings for years by saying that game didn't exist, and in a way, it still doesn't fully exist. So
Stop it.
When all of them are out and I can play them all on one console, I will play my way through that. But and it's not happening right now.
And I would prefer it all be one game. Like that was kind of my only thing with it. Like they could take out all the extra content and just have the same production value and do the original game, and I would have been even happier. So I get that, but I do love it.
Yeah, for sure. No, I don't believe it. It looks great. They just when they told me it was going to be broken into like 3 sections, I was just gobsmacked. But I had you in my mind the whole time when they were talking about it. So, but anyway, I actually had a tie for this, which may be cheating a little bit, but Darria got to do that on other systems, so I'll do it too. But I'll skip talking about for now Spider-Man for reasons that will become apparent as we go through other systems, and talk more about the other one that was on my list, Ghost of Tsushima, which, man,
so good.
But those 2 games like just absorbed me totally, and I just played them both from beginning to end. You know, Spider-Man was a game that I felt I was honor bound 100%, which I don't normally do. You know, like a lot of the achievement hunting, but damn it, give me a Spider-Man game and I will do it. And but Ghost of Tsushima, I'm also a huge mark for samurai stuff, and this game just did it so well and so right, and was a perfect mix of like historical blend with like samurai movie vibe. It's still not perfectly like 100% historically accurate, though they did do a good job of putting in like a lot of what did happen at the time and a lot of samurai vibe and everything. But just for instance, they didn't actually have katanas at the time. It would have been a straight blade sword. So just little things, you know, if you're a history buff, that stand out a bit. But still, like, just the game, it's just like poetry, though. Like, everything in the game looks beautiful. And speaking of poetry, you sit and write some during the game when you go sit at a hot spring. You know, it just got just the greatest mix of like action and just sword swinging and like ephemeral like beauty, and it just grabbed me at every turn. And the you know, on top of that too, like the sword play and everything was really fun, because the game's written about you being the ghost, so you're kind of using like you know, like ninja tactics and like falling into a more dishonorable place in order to, you know, beat off the Mongol invasion. But I just prefer to just go running in there and just swinging a sword at people, because the you know, the parry and counter system was like really intuitive and really fun. And I just loved putting on like, you know, like massive you know, like headpieces and really bright colorful armor, and just walking in the front gate and seeing how many guys you could take out before I was forced to go hide somewhere. And you know, by the end of the game, you're just stomping through people, and it's such a blast. But and I will say, for those people who get through the storyline, the final duel in that game just hits like so hard as far as the like the culmination of the story and the emotional arc of the characters, and it is really rewarding. So for anyone who's like a you know, like a Legend of the Five Rings or a Kurosawa fan or anything like myself, like, man, it's a must play.
Absolutely. I actually played through it a second time just so I could do the black and white mode. Yeah,
and I haven't done that yet, but it's definitely on the list to play it. Yeah, black and white on the ultimate difficulty. You know, so like one hit kill.
That's crazy, man. I there's no way I could do that.
That has been on my list for a while to play.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's a reason. I mean, I think it's whenever Sony puts out that movie or series or whatever they're doing with that, I think it's going to be a hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very cinematic. It's a very beautiful game and very fun to play on top of that. So, you know, definitely go check it out.
What is the name of the sequel that's coming out?
Sakaguchi loves that game. Oh, I'm sorry, Jack.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, there's Ghost of oh God, what is it?
Yeah, I gotta look it up. Because yeah,
it's actually I'm excited for that too because one of my favorite improv comedians is voicing
oh, Ghost
the main
of Yote.
character, Ghost of Yote. That's right, and Erika Ishii is people might know from Dropout. She's on like Make Some Noise and some other game shows like that, but she's doing the voice of that character.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, very excited for that too.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just saying, I think Sakaguchi was talking about how much he likes that game. This human. So. Fantastic. By the way, I found the video, Maul, proving that you were at the Sony press conference.
I'm sure I was there. Like, I think I'm messily eating a cookie or something.
You are.
Yeah. I just didn't remember Jane's Addiction being there. So,
I don't
know. It's weird.
Wasn't their best performance.
Well,
Just blocked it out.
Perry didn't start yelling at the rest of the band, right?
They didn't fight.
So, like,
No.
It wasn't their worst.
Right.
No,
It was just
true.
weird because, like, okay, it's like they just did the presentation, right? And then it was like, all right, now you guys get to play games. Oh, wait a second though. Jane's Addiction's gonna play in the middle of everything and have like people in cages and stuff like around. It was just like really bizarre, and like they were definitely flexing their Sony muscle. Like we own this band, they must be here.
And that's why they don't have those anymore. Is they gotta flex their pocketbook every time. No, it was not as memorable as like the time I went to a UFC party in Vegas, and Kid Rock performed, and then he started wandering around in the crowd, drunkenly testing his gaydar out on people.
Oh my
and
God.
he was
God.
very bad at it. If you had a weird haircut or
Very
just
Kid
kinda
Rock thing.
dressed
to do.
differently, he'd be like, "Hey, let me test my gaydar. Are you a lesbian?" And be like, "No, I have short hair." And he was just doing that all night. It was
He
great.
still has fans.
I know, it's amazing.
It is amazing. Going from city to city to that. I might have to play the video of you at E3 later. We'll see. But before that, Logan.
Yeah. So I know Daria's going to be talking about this more later, and I haven't actually played the game, but I have to say what the favorite game that I want to play on the PlayStation 4 is Horizon Zero Dawn. No, I never owned a PlayStation 4, but this is the best I can do. No, I've seen the footage, and I mean, you saw my trailer. It's looks like the exact kind of vibe that I would enjoy. That sort of sci-fi look. I love the designs of all the robot creatures that roam around the world, and open world games, especially ones that have that level of like graphic fidelity, really immerse you. So I just feel like it'd be a great time to try. So I'll get it on my PC one day.
Yeah, you should. It's
You
great.
should.
I was saying they just released the remaster of that game as well.
Right? Yeah, the remaster. This would be a good time to do it.
Yeah, it would be a perfect time to do it. They implemented a lot of the new kind of engines and things like that they used on Horizon Forbidden West and Burning Shores.
Okay.
And the way that they lit the environments and things like that. And it was already a very beautiful game, but it adds a whole another dimension to it.
Right.
So Daria, did you have a pick for this category?
I did. It's Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'd probably have to say that this is my one of my favorite stories of all time, either in games or media or anything like that. I do like post-apocalyptic stuff, but this is post-apocalyptic. And the way that the game takes you through the story. I know a lot of a lot of games where you're experiencing what the main character is experiencing, but the way that you're uncovering what happened in the past, and both figuring out how that ties into the issues that you're facing in the game in the present, and trying to figure out why the world is the way it is, and why you have these huge machine creatures roaming the world, which I also just think the concept behind and the design behind a lot of those creatures is really, really cool, and how they interact with the world. the other thing, I'm trying to think, like, it's also the very first open world game that I played. And so I also completed this 100%.
Wow, good job.
So, the last thing that I have to do to get like in game, I've gotten everything 100%. I've gotten all of the data points, all of those things, and I just have to play it through on ultra hard. So nice. I'm slowly making my way through that, but that will get me the platinum trophy.
Well,
but
I have to say this in Control too. We'll get to that, but this it was really fun. And not that you hadn't gotten into games before, but it was really fun to see how it's just fun to see someone get so into a game like you got really into Horizon. It's just really fun to whenever you see someone get really captured, by something. So that's cool. I think it's a great game. I have never been able to get into open world games, and it's a flaw of mine, not of the game. I'm gonna keep trying Horizon until it sticks because I think that's the one that's gonna get me.
It's the story for me is really what
it goes some places.
I like to be directed in a game. I don't like to have all the freedom. I want to know, like, okay, the designer wants me to go to this place now, and I'm going to witness this thing. And I get that not everyone wants that. A lot of people want like freedom, and they want the open world, and they want all that stuff.
What I do like about
wonderful, it's just I'm not good enough to do it. I guess I don't know.
What I do like about Horizon,
it's a flaw
though,
with me. That's why it's a flaw with me, not with the game.
What I do love about Horizon is that there are different main story quests. There's different categories of quests that it separates for you, and you don't have to pursue a lot of those side things, but it keeps your main quests at the top, so that you can keep progressing with those, and you don't really need the other ones as integral pieces to the story. They add a lot of rich texture to the world, but you can just follow those main quests.
I'll probably follow the main quest for that.
I think a staple of good design too for open worlds is still guiding the player to where they need to go, but through more natural in world means to doing that. You can get really creative in those types of games.
It's phenomenal design. Again, the flaw is with me. It's not with the game. There's some great, extraordinarily well designed open world games, and I can totally admit that. But there's something about it that just doesn't grab me, and I wish it did. And I think at some point, there was this shooter on the Xbox that took me a little while to like, and then I started to really like it, Halo. And maybe the same thing will happen to me with open world games, because I obviously really ended up liking Halo a lot.
You should play open world Halo Infinite.
I have Halo Infinite, and then I figured out it was open world, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
And also, BreakmanX and I have played through all the Halo games, couch co-op, and then Infinite came out, and they said there'd be an update. They said it.
Yeah, I never
and
played
Microsoft decided to purposely squash our dreams.
Yep. It sucks.
Yep. But it's okay.
Well, they remembered that time that you sent in 4 Xboxes to be replaced by them, and we're like, hell with that guy.
Yeah. And
kill this update.
Spending years harping on them, but had to be one of us. Logan, hit us up with the chat.
Yeah, so let's see here. We've got Fenris saying he got his PS4 when the Slims came out, but I didn't spend a lot of time with it. I would say the game I enjoyed most on it would be Final Fantasy IV Remake. Nice, you're in good company here.
The 7 remake, right?
Sorry, yeah, 7. I saw the V, and then I saw the VI, and then my brain didn't register the other two.
Yeah, PS4, 7. Yeah, so one of those two.
Yep. And then, but honestly, I spent more time fixing PS4s than playing mine. Wow. Yeah, I wonder what the most common break is. If you mentioned that in the chat, I'd be curious.
Yeah.
And then Jesse Brown says, "In it to win it, if you will. Halo all day." Nice.
Yeah.
And then Storm Eagle says, "PS4 game break is right on this Final Fantasy VII remake."
Yes, he is.
Not only was the game amazing, there made my girl Aerith the best character in the game, and if you remember all the reactions when that game dropped, it broke the internet.
The voice actor they got for her is probably the best one, I think, of that game. Yes, Stormy, we're of the same mind and heart.
And then Jesse Brown says, "Immersion ruined. Lol, one of us." Nice.
One of us. One of us. All right. So before we head on to the next. Oh.
Okay, so the most common failure point for PS4s is the HDDs, especially if it's a Crash B Toshiba drive. Oh yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
Yep. So before we go on, I've got a little 30-second video I want to play, and it's us at the Sony press conference. No, there's nothing bad about it. It's just fun. It's a little memory we talked about, and it's really easily accessible. So this is E3 press conference where they launched. They showed off the. It's only 30 seconds. They showed off the Velveeta. And all of the free food. This is all the free food. There's Eric and Erica. Ah! Becca.
Big Tam.
See, this is why you don't have your press conference at 9
Maul!
Giving people liquor.
Yes.
Subway cookies.
They just might not drink it. What?
We're at the Sony press conference, so at least
How
the
hot was it
pre-party.
that day?
All right, that's enough of that.
Break
was
forever
fun.
the fashion victim.
I say, how hot was it out there? I mean, that had to be summer, right? If it was E3.
It's LA.
was hot.
It's probably.
It was
like
LA
the
though, and
70s.
I'd lived there for a while, so I was kind of like used to, I don't know, the weather. But yes, that was a really fun party, and all the free food was delicious.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to
No Kid Rock, no.
Yeah, moving on from Kid Rock for sure. No bow it to ba. All right, so moving on to the Xbox One, and this game again. When we used to do these lists back in the old days, I used to say that it had to be exclusive, but you can't really do that anymore because everything's cross-platform, so it wouldn't make sense to do that now. So this is a game I actually played on PC. I had a very long HDMI cord running from my PC. It was 100 foot from my PC to and it had like a repeater in the middle because it was so long. From my PC to my TV, so I could actually play it sitting and like playing it. But and we're gonna talk about this one for a little bit. This is kind of, I think, the main focus here of the games we've got left. But yeah, Control is amazing. When I teach my video game class, it's one of the games that we spend a lot of time on because I think, and also I just love David Lynch, and it feels to me like I'm playing a David Lynch movie a lot of the times when I'm playing it. But it is such a good game, and so the narrative of it that it takes you through from beginning to end. You are so hooked with what's going on, and then it matches it with these fantastic game mechanics. The gunplay is great. The powers that you get are awesome. I mean, it's the best, like, it's not the Force, but it's the best version of those type of powers in a video game. Like being able to take pieces of walls and throw them at people and how
interactively dynamic the environment is.
So it's so ridiculously good. If you've not played Control, you need to go play it. I mean, after the show, not right now, but
I'll go
once the show's over, you should go play it on whatever platform you can. And I think it's free on something, maybe.
It was free on Epic at one point,
for a little while.
but I think that was one of their like weekly giveaway things, which was a crazy giveaway. But I don't know what's up with it right now.
I would say you wait about every 2 months, 3 months, and you'll find it on sale on like GOG or something like that for like 99 cents to $1.
Oh wow!
But it's one of those games where like I can show the first few minutes of it to my class, and like they will want to play it. Like it's so obvious that it's a good game.
The way that the cinematic, like those like cinematic pieces in between, like the chapters and the kind of the gameplay, like I love the way that they're designed and put together, and how they have like have some of these like video like as if they were small actual movies as part of the game itself.
Mhm.
As like the media files, like it's go ahead,
like the little vignettes that kind of play as you're kind of moving through. Like, yeah, like honestly, like some of my favorite parts are like you're walking down a corridor and all of a sudden you get the inner monologue of the old director, like smoking a cigarette, being like, man, it's the guy that did the voice for Max Payne, basically being it's like I could tell something was wrong. And you just watch him, like you just see his silhouette as you're walking down the hall and you're like, man, okay, something cool is going on. Something cool is about to happen. And then you can pause the game and you can watch like the entire thing on its own if you want to. But you know that in the background, like she's getting these telepathic messages from him from beyond because he's already dead. And it's just, I mean, I can go on and on about this game, and so I probably will. But like between the characters in the game are awesome. I mean, between Audie the janitor,
oh my god,
Jesse, the main character, the guy that runs the Panopticon, I can't remember what his name is.
Langston,
yes, he's great. But I mean, my favorite in that entire game is Dr. Darling. I mean,
oh my god, yes.
Like I just. He is so over the top and so great. And every time I hear that little 3-tone chime that comes before all of his videos, I'm just like, all right, I'm going to sit and watch this thing, and I will watch it repeat at least once, because he's so earnest. Like, he's such a great actor. He's just earnest, and like, he's just like, oh my God, this is super exciting. It might kill us all. And there's something about that, and especially towards the end of the game, as you start to figure out exactly what's going on and where he's going, it's
and
just,
his descent, and
yeah, and like the final video he leaves, I was just like, this was amazing. And by the time the game's over, I'm just like, this is like, yes, you took me on a journey, and this was really cool. And like, I won't spoil a whole bunch, but like, I'm very excited with where they're gonna go with Control 2.
Oh my god.
And if you read the little data points, like just the way that like it further builds the world and like gives you a sense of like how everything ties together. Oh, and this is I can connect these 2 points, even though it's not like explicitly mentioned, and it's just super duper interesting. And the sound design of it is incredible.
Yes, I think my favorite is like, what is it? It's the rubber duck, or no, it's the refrigerator. Like you see all these little pickups and collectibles along the way, talking about this refrigerator that basically eats people. And then you finally get to the place where they're holding the refrigerator, and there's a guy on refrigerator duty, and he's just like, I can't look away. Somebody has to come get me. And it's just, it's so great. Like, they do such a great job of world building.
The lore, but
oh, we're on the same page. I was gonna say it does that like fictional government conspiracy theory thing. Like, so
the Federal Bureau of Control, like all these altered items and objects of power that they have to keep housed and protected, and
there's probably
alternate dimensions
that like follows exactly that.
Alternate dimensions and beings, and the study of those things. Like there's a whole mold dimension, like a threshold of like.
It's like, I don't know where it's going. We probably shouldn't eat it, but it smells really good.
I mean,
and all the posters, the little posters throughout, like the design even of the offices. Like, you're in office spaces, but it still feels like alive.
Yeah, and the details. Sorry, Break, go ahead.
It's okay, I'm coughing anyway.
But like the details, like they literally have, like, you can go look at the cork boards around some of the break areas. It's like, hey, don't bring a computer in here. Hey, don't bring anything that is archetypal. Like, just really, really strange things. And when you see how they've built the world, when you see what the entire game looks like and why the FBC looks like it does, you're like, okay, this is starting to make a lot of sense. And
well, you told they had fun with it too, making it.
Oh, I'm sure.
So much.
The other, the other things I love about it, like the little ties to like Norse mythology in it too. Like in, not to like spoil anything, but like essentially at the bottom of the building, there's this like tree, kind of like reminiscent of I believe it. Not so great on the pronunciation. Yggdrasil, I think is how it's pronounced. But and then Ati and the things that are around his office. But I'd probably have to say like one of my favorite like data points that you would find are the podcast episodes for America Overnight.
Yeah.
Because it's this podcast or like this radio show that they had that people could call in to kind of dispel them from like
thinking things were actually going on.
Yep.
Well,
so
yeah, no, and I remember that was one of the games I showed you again when you lived here, and I remember again you getting so into it, and I was really stoked to show you that game because it was nice to have someone else that was so into it when I was like peak Control. So glad that you like it so much, and it's a really fantastic game. I do want to break in here really quick. If you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing, we'd appreciate a like and subscribe. I hate to say that, it's so cliche, but it does help like extraordinarily. If you want to help us, you don't have to give us money, but a like and subscribe would be delicious. But we do have Control is going to be mentioned again, so we can dovetail Xbox One here at the end because someone else I think likes it. But Jack though does not like Control. He instead picks.
I picked Forza Horizon 3, and it's not because I don't like Control. It's because I know. But no, Forza Horizon 3. So the Forza Horizon games 1 and 2 were really cool. 1 kind of was something way out of the left field. It was different from most of the other Forza games that played. 2 kind of took it to the next step, giving you kind of an open world, and you just kind of go anywhere, do anything, and expanded upon that. But 3 really, they changed the setting to Australia, and that's where things really kind of got over the top. Like just amazing set piece races, just fun racing games. They started to have some of the Horizon events that just brought in the multiplayer in with that open world, and really kind of, I thought, took it to the next level. That they really 4 and 5 were just kind of really basic iterations on what they perfected in 3, and so 3 is really kind of that's my favorite game on the Xbox One to go back and play. Unfortunately or fortunately, there's not a whole bunch of people still playing 3 online because 4 and 5 are out there, especially with Game Pass, but 3 is still, I think, for the racing feel and for the open world itself, is probably my favorite just because of the scenery on that one.
Nice. It has a great sense of speed too.
Oh, they all have a great sense of speed.
Yeah. It feels very fast. It's nice. Maul.
Yeah. Man, Xbox One actually has a tremendous library. And unfortunately, I have not played Control, so I can't chime in on this.
You would love it.
I'm sure I would. I'm sure I would. No, I missed it if anyone mentioned it before, but the Bureau and that, is that based on the SCP?
So I see a lot of people like reference those things. I don't know much about SCP in general, but I know when I was doing a lot more like kind of reading into all of that, it kind of mirrored that community.
Okay. Like what came up was SCP when you're mentioning the Bureau, so I bet there probably is some connection there. And the phone line you're talking about, I wonder if that's based on Coast to Coast with Art Bell, where it was an old AM radio show where you'd have just crackpots calling in all the time, and it's real fun to go back and listen to. Yeah, he's not on it. I think he died a few years ago.
There's
actually,
different hosts.
so
It was more fun when he was on it.
yeah. But anyway, so despite that though, I chose the remake of Resident Evil 2 on here, just because like they did a really good job on it. Resident Evil 2 remained a high point in the series for me, Resident Evil, which is, itself was a great, series, a great franchise, but it had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. and RE2 hit the perfect like horror mix for me, where actually when playing through that, it actually like would make you jump and you felt like terrorized without at the same time it being so low on ammo. Like ammo conservation was still a big part of the game, but it wasn't so bad that you were like, well, I'm never finishing this game now. Time to go back to the last save point. I shot one too many bullets here, so but it still like had that terror to it. And when that game came out, the series was so fresh. Over time, I know 4 is also very good, but it kind of lost its way a little bit in some regards, and has over time become more of like a meme of ladies with big derrieres, than anything else.
I wasn't expecting
but 2, like the remake went back and recaptured that horror and just made the package like so much more palatable. Like made updated the control scheme, updated the graphics, and just like upped the adrenaline factor just enough. And I think they did a really great job with it and recaptured what I loved about that series so much when it first came out.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. When I was playing the RE2 remake, and all of a sudden the Mr. X just shows up and starts chasing me across,
so scary.
across all of the entire police station, I was just like, oh crap! Like run! Okay,
So
I don't hear his
scary.
footsteps. I can stop. And then like 2 screens later, it's like, oh god, I hear him again. Run! And like that legit like really freaked me out. Which like I said, I've played RE2 is probably my favorite next to RE4, and it's the one I've played the most on the original PlayStation and even on PC. Like I played through the original one like probably, I don't know, 6-7 times, both discs. And like RE2, like I felt like I knew what I was getting into when I started playing the remake, and they did some things that really, really tripped me up and really freaked me out. When I have to give Capcom a lot of kudos. They really did a fantastic job.
Yep. Sometimes they knock it out of the park.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You guys said pretty much everything, I would say. It's really fantastic. Really fantastic. BreakmanX has gotten super into Resident Evil after that game too. He's beaten 2, 4, I think 5, definitely Village. He's beaten Village like 8 times. Like over and over again. He loves that one. But
Hey, we have another attempt at a movie coming out for that series. So,
I like the first one in like a nostalgic, I don't think it's like a great movie, but I don't know.
It's fun for
But then
one.
they
I
made
remember
like
being
4
excited,
sequels.
I remember being excited. I haven't seen most of the sequels, but I just it was just cool. There was a video game movie. That's what I thought about.
We just kept saying when we saw the first one was out, like whenever anyone would bring it up, we'd just say like Matrix kicking dog, because that's just I remember the most was Mia Jovovich just like slow-mo kicking a zombie dog out of the air. Just that movie's so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And the little girl.
Oh man.
It's killing me. Resident Evil has killed me.
He has the virus. The T virus is in Break.
Well, speaking of No Man's Sky.
Yeah, that would be my favorite Xbox One game. Also, this is one that I did play on PC as well. But it came out in the era of the Xbox One, so I'm throwing it in there. And yeah, I just think it's a really great space game. Like it's kind of one of the first games to really capture the open world, like open galaxy level of exploration. And I just love like flying around and uncovering new worlds in that game. And man, I've had some wacky experiences playing with friends. That's my favorite way to play. If anybody's played the game, my friends and I found this planet filled with like gravit orbs or whatever. I'm forgetting the name of the the resource, but it's something like that. And it's like one of the most valuable resources in the game. It's just littered everywhere on the surface of the planet. So we were just like going around picking them all up and selling them, and it got it bought us capital ships and everything. Like, it was crazy.
I always felt bad for that team because like they were pretty upfront and honest. Like they're like, hey, we got like 20 people working on this game and it's gonna be all procedurally generated. And so like this is gonna be kind of fun. And then Sony picked it up and was publishing it on the PS4, and they're like, it's gonna do all this stuff, and they just built up so much hype. And then when it came out, and it was pretty basic. I mean, and don't get me wrong, they have done some amazing work in the time since it was originally released. Like what that game is now versus what it was back when it was originally released in 2017, 2018. That's a completely different game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
give props to the development team for keeping at it.
Oh yeah.
I started playing it like a couple of years ago, so I jumped in when it was already at that level. But yeah, I do remember stories of like people being disappointed when it did come out originally, but like, yeah, that was mostly on the marketing end of things, because what can you expect from a small team making a game of that scale?
Yep.
It's cool though.
You gotta give them time.
Hopefully it gets more love. But
Yeah.
back to Darria needs control.
Control would be my pick for the Xbox. That's when I actually got to play through Control. It was on the Xbox, and I believe on the Xbox, because I've been working on playing it through again on the PlayStation 5. I got all of the trophies. I believe I platinumed that one.
Awesome.
That's
really
and
cool.
so like
Congrats.
I really enjoy so many of like the things about. I know we had kind of had that discussion, but so many
okay.
things about the game itself, the experience of it, the world building, the detail, and kind of how they created like the idea of the antagonist is also really interesting too. Now, to take a little brief departure from Control, my notable mentions for Xbox One, because I played these first on this console, was Jedi Fallen Order and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Those I also played very obsessively.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order and then Jedi Survivor I thought were, and I'm excited because there's supposed to be a third one, but
Working on a third one.
But I love the characters for those, and the way that the lightsaber combat works in Fallen Order. So
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's very Souls-like, and so it's right up my alley.
I will say on that, if they make a third one, it'll be cool because the other games are good. But god damn it, Cal Kestis has to die. He has to be dead. They are making too many Jedi survive the purge.
Yep.
And it's just making Vader look weaker and weaker as they go. Like he has to get killed at the end.
What's funny is
That's
I've
it.
seen like a video that has like put together all of the Order 66 like scenes from all of the different like media that's out there, the game, the shows, everything, and how it all kind of went down like all at once, and it just adds it in as if matches the timeline.
Oh wow.
Which is super interesting.
Huh.
But it keeps on adding more people who survive.
You know,
but yeah.
The Clone Wars Season 7 version is my favorite.
If they get to the end and Yoda's like, you know, Luke, the last of the Jedi, will you be? And there's another.
Except for
we already
Cal.
got Ahsoka.
Yep.
Ahsoka floating around. It's like, Yoda, you're full of shit, because Ahsoka, a little bit of an excuse because she fell through a time hole and was, you know, out of the way for a while. But like, god damn it, no one else can be alive. None.
Yeah.
All others there are.
Yep.
We should change episode 4. Some other hopes.
Yeah.
I did like about like Fallen Order and like being able to go into like these old tombs and things like that. I love that kind of aspect of like games, being able to go explore older, more ancient things.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Enjoyed your commentary, Daria. No, I'm being serious, Jack.
Okay.
Don't laugh at me.
Hey,
Wait, you said that.
I was trying to be honest and serious. I appreciate it very much.
I feel like our show has just become Break Gaslights Daria all the time. That's
Better stop. No, I'm serious. I thought it was a good analysis.
It was.
No sarcasm.
I don't do sarcasm. At least not very often. You can tell when I do.
Yeah.
I saw a comment. Yes, my cat is in the little house, and I saw when I first started talking, he was showing his toes. So
What's his rate? It says it's a paid actor. What's his rate?
Nice.
You treats every hour.
And I should mention, if you want to join the Discord, you can go to BreakmanX.com and click the Discord button there at the top. Probably the easiest way to get there. We'd love to see you in the Discord for sure. All right, so moving on to Nintendo's most successful system of all. Oh, wait, Jack.
We're on current gen.
Oh
This is
my
current
God.
gen. We're finally here.
It only took us like 10 hours, 8 hours. We're gonna finish this thing tonight. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get through this together.
and then you can make one long form video of all of them edited together.
I will.
And put it up.
I will.
That'll be great.
Compilations are good, apparently. So I will do that. All right. So Nintendo Switch, most successful Nintendo system of all time. Getting close to the PS2. We'll see if it ends up superseding it. Some people say yes, some people say no. But going into, and also one of the longest running, actually, I think the longest running home console of all time, too.
Yeah.
With continued support. Super Mario Odyssey is fabulous. That's my game for the Switch. I remember it was, right when the Switch came out, and I just remember Chad Anselmo, who at the time was at Nintendo PR. He's at Square Enix now. But he'd been on the show a few times, and then he spoke to my class. And I just remember asking him, like, trying to get any information about Mario Odyssey out of him as I could. And he would not say anything other than, "You're really going to like it." And he was right, Chad. I really, really liked it. And we do need to catch up soon. We just talked about that. Anyway, Mario Odyssey is great. Another game, BreakmanX also got through, beat the whole thing, got all the moons.
Mm-hmm.
Jack.
Yeah, so my favorite one is kind of, I had Mario Odyssey earlier because I do think it's an amazing game. But then I was kind of going through my Switch cartridges I've got, and I realized, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot Legend of Zelda Cadence of Hyrule. Like, I don't know if you're a big fan of Crypt of the Necrodancer, but yeah, you give me a rhythm game and you combine it with Zelda, and that's a recipe for love for me. It's something about jumping around all of the world of Hyrule while you're just going in time with the overworld music and whatever other music is going on is a very cool design choice. I love the Crypt of the Necrodancer games. I love Legend of Zelda, and Cadence of Hyrule is fantastic. It's honestly not as long as I wanted it to be, because I would have loved a full-scale Zelda with that mechanic, but I'll take what I can get, and it was an amazing experience, and I love just replaying it just to kind of go back in and just listen to the tunes.
Nice. Very cool. I agree. Also great. And Maul.
For me, also in the Zelda series, Breath of the Wild, which we had mentioned earlier. Yeah. This one, for me, another great return to Hyrule's open world. Reminded me a lot in a good way because of its visual styling of Wind Waker. and a little bit of like a Shadow of the Colossus vibe with the huge like living labyrinths, the dungeons, and that being like creatures that you were busting into and working your way around and everything. Made it was a little bit different. There's just a lot of cool, just interesting stuff in that. I liked the the exploration. I liked the way everything kind of like reset at night. It wasn't just like constantly respawning enemies. There was like a logic to it, and it was also a pretty good challenge as far as like there were areas you would go into and like those temple guardians would wake up and they would just kick your ass for so long in that game. It really put a real like kind of element of fear into the exploration that a lot of the other ones don't really have. So it was pretty cool. And I so far have liked I haven't finished Tears of the Kingdom. I so far like Breath of the Wild better, just because like the gimmick of Tears of the Kingdom does feel gimmicky to me, as much as I enjoy making a robot with a big flame-throwing dick and running that around. I just kind of prefer just the more basic exploration, of the Breath of the Wild by comparison. But, props to both. If you like one over the other, either way, Tears of the Kingdom, if you like that one better, that's fine. But not quite for me, but...
Again, a game that I love, but it's so open worldy. But it's great.
It is.
It is great, but yeah, I need to get more into open world.
You can cook things though. Go get all the things and cook them.
I don't like crafting in games. Cooking, I don't like crafting. I don't want to go collect apples. I want to go. I want to go to an old woman in a cave and buy a potion. I don't want to go.
That's it. But you can make the right apples with the right things. They protect you from the cold, and then you can climb the mountains earlier.
I know.
And get up there, and come on, man.
I would even go so far as to go get the instructions from an old man.
Yeah.
Bring it to the old woman, as in the original Legend of Zelda, and she would make it for me.
Yeah.
I don't, or some wizard would befall me some potion. No, it's great. It's a fault with me. I wish I could get into it because, Zelda is like one of my absolute favorite series of all time. So I wish that I could. Maybe if I have more time. Maybe I'll try to get this summer.
I will say one thing I will agree with you on that's in the game that I kind of wish wasn't is I wish that the weapon breaking system wasn't as harsh.
I also
I'm okay with your weapons deteriorating over time and everything. I think it's kind of a neat idea that goes back to like 2nd edition D&D type stuff. But like, good God, it's so
they break
fast.
all the time.
Like you'll just you get like a club, you'll hit someone 3 times and poof. Well, let me reach my backpack and get like one of my 10 other weapons I've got in here.
Yeah,
so it's like
hero of time, and you got like your Kmart thing hitting people.
They're trying to make it like an element of reality by making your weapons actually break, but they're also busting reality by making you carry a dozen different swords in your backpack just in case. So that was kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I really hated that like a lot. That's another thing. And again, I get the design idea of it, and I think it's interesting. But in practicality, playing it, I just don't want... I want to get a sword, and I want it to work, and then I want to get a better sword, and I want that sword to work. At no point do I want the sword to just not work.
I will say that does at least give you a real big reward when you finally get like the named weapons, and it's like,
it's
good.
But
I've
still,
got this forever.
You get the Master Sword. It's like, oh, hey, guess what? You got the Master Sword. Oh, by the way, this thing breaks too, but you just have to wait until you can use it. Like,
yeah. Yeah, real
if
pain.
If it was a cheat to make it so you couldn't break weapons, I'd actually probably really dive in quick.
Yeah.
There probably is, but
there's probably a recipe you can cook some apples in a way that makes your weapons not break.
Not gonna do it. This is Hello Fresh Zelda edition. All right. So, Logan, you were going to tell us about this game. This was foretold.
Yes, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So this is by far the game I've played the most on the Switch. And, yeah, I just think everything about it is so good. Like the visual, it's one of the most beautiful Switch games in my opinion. They really were able to utilize the graphics that the Switch does do well and like apply it in a way that looks almost effortless. It's like, man, I wish other Switch games would look that good. But and then they really just refined the controls in that Mario Kart game. Like the other Mario Kart game that I've played the most is Wii, and 8 just feels so good by comparison. And man, the course selection is really good too. Like now, the reason why I waited until Switch to say this is because of the booster course pass. Like that is the whole second Mario Kart game for $20.
And people had been saying that for years. Like Nintendo just released more courses, and Nintendo released more courses.
And they did, and it's great. Like it's so worth the booster course pass.
I mean,
they brought over a lot of the best courses. Although I wish they would add Toad's Factory, but they're done with that now. So we'll have to wait for Mario Kart 9. But
they're holding on for the good ones for that one.
I want every course from every Mario game ever.
That may happen one day.
I would say, if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the #1 selling game on the Switch.
It's the #1 selling, I think, Nintendo game ever.
Pretty sure the Mario Kart on Wii was also top selling.
Yeah, I can only imagine like if they're releasing Mario Kart 9 as a release game, as a launch game for the Switch 2, then they've got to have. I'm sure they are just licking their chops about, man, we can release so many extra add-on content, so much extra content for this thing once we drop the game itself. They have to be just salivating over how much.
And
they
I
can
will
get
buy
out of
all of
everybody.
it. Every
Day one
course. Yep. That's another family game. We all play it, and we all love it.
Yeah. And I have to say, I think my favorite time playing it obviously is playing it with people, but like the online multiplayer, like custom matches, doing it that way gets insane.
Yes, it does.
I've been in a Discord call with like almost the full 12 players all in the Discord call. And it gets so wild.
Oh yeah, it's super
stressful. A little competitive at times.
Yeah.
I will say, actually, I was actually curious about it. You said it's the highest selling Nintendo game of all time. It is the second highest.
Oh, it's the second highest.
Though it's probably highest without the cheat. That the highest selling is Wii Sports.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So if you take out the pack-in, it is handily the highest selling.
It's the highest.
Even outselling, outsells all the combined red, blue, and yellow Pokemon games combined.
Wow.
Sold all 3 of them.
Sorry, Pokemon.
Everybody loves Mario Kart.
It is.
I mean, it's a safe bet. Yeah.
The mechanics of Mario Kart are just so well refined at this point. Like, it's great.
All right, Darria.
I mean, mine is also Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because that's one of the few games that I've played on the Switch so far. But it's something that I think it was the first game that we got when my boyfriend and I first got the Switch. That was one that we absolutely had to have. But and then I think we also got Smash Bros. So yep. So we haven't quite worked our way through all those yet, but we did get the booster for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and we have had a lot of fun with that.
That's awesome. Really quick, what's everyone's favorite Smash Brothers? Jack.
Ooh. Melee.
Maul.
I would probably agree it's Melee. At least that's the one I played the most.
Logan.
Ultimate.
Darria.
I actually don't know. I'd never played. I'd never played until like I got the game for the Switch. I'd only like seen people play.
You're more of a PlayStationer.
I wouldn't say that.
There's nothing wrong with that. I bet it's a compliment. I didn't mean.
But
you're well versed in the Soniness.
But no, we haven't gone through and like actually unlocked everything yet. So we're still like at the very beginning of all of that.
With Ultimate, it takes a long time.
We unlocked everything. It took for flipping ever. But My favorite is also Melee. I still have my original save from that, and so I can like boot up the GameCube and see like I unlocked like young Link or whatever, like December 2002.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I say I did play Brawl quite a bit too, but I played the most like couch multiplayer, with my roommates when I had Melee, and Brawl was more me playing on my own sad times. So
it was December 2001, not 2002. December 2001, because that was Fellowship of the Ring, and yep,
Very fun.
I remember that combo. Nice choices,
That would have
everybody.
been a good combo.
It was a good combo. Yeah, BreakmanX gave me Melee, and she gave it to me early because I couldn't wait.
The cat just opened
She's
the
actually
door.
never waited until Christmas ever to give me a present. She's always given me everything early, and she'll be like, "I'm gonna wait this." Nope. PlayStation 5. Oh my gosh, we're almost done after all these years here. So I could wax poetic again about the first game, but in the sake of time, I'm just gonna say everything that I said about Final Fantasy VII Remake. You can kind of say with Rebirth too. It's a little bit different. It's a little more open worldy. See what you're doing, Square. But I do still love it, and it is the opening with the calm scene is fantastic, and that was kind of the thing when I thought of the Final Fantasy Remake that I was most excited to see. So it's cool to see that. But I'll move on because again, sake of time.
Right.
Jack.
And I'll follow that up. So I'm kind of taking an opposite tact. So like I want something that's open worldy, but not quite open worldy. And so my favorite game on the PlayStation 5 is actually Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's got the open worldness of the original Spider-Man that was released on PS4, but it doesn't have all the open world just junk to do that game has, or even Spider-Man 2 has. It's a much more focused game, and I love that about it, because I can get in, I can spend 10-15 hours with it, and maybe 20 hours, and get through the entire storyline and do some of the side quest stuff too. I don't have to feel like I have to put in 80 hours to 100% the game. Like it's a good streamlined experience, and it's kind of the perfect sweet spot for me.
Yes. And weirdly enough, I like the Spider-Man games. So there are no rules.
and I'll be honest, I kind of like Miles as a protagonist a little bit more than Peter Parker.
Oh, I do too.
His movies are great.
Yeah.
Especially the version on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's your with him. So my pick on here is Baldur's Gate 3 for all the same reasons as when I cited it on the PC earlier. So I'm not going to go back into it and bore you guys with talking about how great that game is. It's excellent. This is one I kind of saved off to just reiterate, because it was my pick on PlayStation 4, that the Spider-Man games are likewise fantastic. I will say with Jack's pick on Miles Morales, it is a great game. I do like that it's a nice bite-sized one, like you say, but I do wish they had put it out as originally planned as like a DLC of the first one, rather than getting that $10 extra out of me by putting it on its own disc. But it is still a great story, and really gives Miles some extra good kind of background and stuff to beef up his character. Even when he already had some great motivation and everything with the storyline with his dad, just in Peter's game. Yeah. But they give him some extra depth in there, which is great. But both those games, I actually did enjoy getting all the stuff in just Spider-Man, because there is a lot of open world crazy stuff, but the number of characters and everything that they use to introduce with that, like the villain roster is pretty beefy in that game because of it. And I did really enjoy how much how they use the expansive world of Spider-Man from the comics to build upon that game. Even more so than I think Logan's pick. But Logan, you want to go into yours?
Oh, transition. That was hot.
So, okay, another game that I want to play and I've never played because I don't own PlayStation 5.
Oh, come on.
I don't have the money. Okay, anyway.
Where is that money tree?
I will mail you my copy of this game and you can play that.
Do it.
Oh, wait, no, never mind. Never mind. Hold on. No. I got the limited edition system. I only have it digital. It came preloaded. My bad.
It never pans out. Anyway, I love just these games feel so unique as an RPG, mostly because of like the movement system and like swinging around buildings. I just love that element of it from the gameplay that I've seen, and also the graphics look fantastic. So it just looks like a great experience, and like Spider-Man is one of my favorite heroes. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they're all excellent. I will say. So my complaint with 2, it's a little more focused on just like a couple of villains rather than being like, boom, here's this huge roster you're gonna play with in the first one. But it's still excusable. The second one has a great story. The real problem with 2 is they changed his face, which they did in the remaster of 1 also. But they changed Spider-Man's actor to look more like Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
God, that kills me because he's supposed to be like a Spider-Man who's been doing it for 8 years, so he's like an older, more adult Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know what? Let's make him look like he's a teenager again. And
I feel like this has been a problem with Spider-Man is like an overarching like IP.
That's true. Yeah, no, it's true because like a lot of us got used to him being like married. That's what I was reading him as a kid. He was married, and it was a much more adult Spider-Man. And I think they keep trying to revert him back to being a teenager because that was his original core of the character. But like when I was, watching his animated series and stuff as a kid, he wasn't a teenager. He was a man. He was Spider-Man. They just they really want him to be 16 forever. Yeah,
it's a weird character because like a lot of superheroes, start out as adults, but like he started out as a teenager, so this is a struggle kind of unique to Spider-Man, I think.
Mm-hmm. They run into that with Miles eventually too, because like when they started, he was 14 in the comics, 13 or 14, and now he's in college, so they've aged him up quite a bit already as well. So.
I could listen to them all talk about comics all day. And I used to at GameCube.
Yeah.
No, seriously, it is. I'm not trying to... I feel like now that Darria with the gaslighting, that all my praise is suspect. But no, serious.
You just have a real gaslighty tone about you. I don't know.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Your input is fantastic, Maul. How's that?
See?
That was on purpose. That was on purpose.
Well, that's just how you sound.
That's so sad. All right, Darria.
Yes.
Show us what you got. I'm just going to play into it now.
So for the PlayStation 5, it is Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. And it's DLC Burning Shores. The graphical upgrades that they made to the environment, to the water, to the way you do melee combat, and can actually go under the water. It's also a kind of like same with the first game, where you can choose to be stealthy, or you can choose to like engage and just fight with your bow, with the different weapons that you have, and with the new melee combos that you can. They added a lot of different game modes, like mini games essentially. They added these like to help you practice those combos. This little like kind of board game called Strike, and which is kind of cool. It's unique, kind of like playing on the different machine characters of the game, and like what they would look like as little like chess pieces essentially. But no, I really loved the way they built on the story in this one, and where they're going to head for the third one, because there's going to be a final third game.
I will give it another shot.
My son's excited for it too.
Yeah,
Cool.
I will say, and the score for both of those games is incredible. For the past 2 years, like the composers of those scores have been on my like Spotify Wrapped.
Nice. Very cool. Oh my gosh, we're going to the last console.
Last
This has
console.
been a momentous task that has taken way longer than I ever thought it would. We'll have to do this again next year. Just kidding. All right. No, honestly, I really did enjoy hearing everyone's picks.
Yeah.
It's really fun to hear what everyone picked and why. But so Xbox Series X, Series S, Xbox has the best names of all of the companies. But I'm going with the Halo Master Chief Collection. I'm going with it with Series X because when it launched on Xbox One, it wasn't quite working super great. But it is so cool to have all of the, basically, not all, but basically all of the Halo games on one package, remastered. Although I do like the original version of Halo 1. I popped it in the other day. And I actually do like the original Halo 1 better than the one on the Halo Master Chief Collection. But I had so much fun replaying all of these games with BreakmanX. We played all of them on couch co-op, and
Nice.
It was a lot of fun. It was one of the first games we beat together, and it was a lot of fun. So, who would have thunk it? It's full circle, I guess. The last one I'm picking here is all of the Halos.
I mean, hey, it's a great value now because now you
played
get
it,
what?
Jack?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
No,
Me and
just
my
kidding.
son have played through it all the time.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What'd you think of the remakes?
I think Halo 2 remake is fine. I'm not the biggest Halo 2 fan anyway, but I think it's fine.
I'm looking so forward to that. I had no
Oh
idea.
yeah, no, I was so bummed out when it actually came out. Like I was just like, wait, this is where it's finishing? Son of a.
Oh, the ending.
And
Okay,
like
do
I
remember
think I may have said some not so kind words to Greg. I was like, really? That's where you left it? But I also knew that he probably hadn't seen his family for like 6 months at that point because of crunch.
that.
So
He didn't write the story either. He just did the
I know,
graphics
I know.
animation. He was sitting back there. How can I make Jack angry?
yeah.
We need to get him back on the show.
Should.
He has my birthday. We wish each other happy birthday every year. Random aside. But what about Halo 3? Which is your favorite Halo? The first one, but besides the first one.
I mean, I would say Halo Reach. Like
Really?
honestly, like I really like Halo 3. Halo 3 is awesome, but Reach is my favorite. Like the story,
Even more than one.
Even more than one, because honestly, like I read The Fall of Reach after really liking Halo 1, and The Fall of Reach really sucked me in as a narrative. It's really good. It's a really awesome story. And like what it doesn't quite stick exactly to the book, but like as a piece of, hey, here's this other group of Spartans we're going to let you meet, and then we're gonna let you see what was happening and how they get from there. It's kind of like it's the Rogue One of Halo. And
Nice.
I really like that part of it. Like I'm not a huge fan of prequels, but it was a good, hey, here's how we got to this point.
Nice. Well, it was fun to hear your take on that. I meant that. God,
I know.
I'm worried about everything. Going into your pick for Xbox Series S X.
Yeah.
More
All right.
letters,
So,
maybe.
so mine actually. So, as you couldn't tell, I'm a huge Remedy fan. Control, Alan Wake, Max Payne, all the games that Remedy, almost all of the games that Remedy is, but I'm a huge fan of. Alan Wake 2 is my pick for Xbox Series X. Alan Wake 2 is the culmination of, I think, everything Remedy has learned making games up to this point. There are certain moments in Control that made me really just sit up and just gasp in awe. And I think Alan Wake 2 had probably like 5 or 6 of those, and I was expecting them, and it still just blew my expectations out of the water. I won't spoil any of it,
Okay. Yeah. No.
but there's one chapter in that game when you make it through, you will be like, oh my god, I have to talk to somebody about this, because it is so bonkers, off the wall, and you really don't expect it coming. It's like the narrative is amazing, the world building is amazing. It ties into some of the other Remedy stuff they've done. But honestly, the gameplay it's a better game than Alan Wake 1. Like the controls, the feel of the gameplay is actually much better. The story is fantastic. And I really cannot wait to see what they do with Control 2, assuming this is just them continuing to learn and hone their craft. Because okay, the only thing I will spoil is that Adi is in Alan Wake 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
It's so good. So good.
Nice. Yeah, I'm replaying Alan Wake right now, the first one. And then I'll probably
That's
replay
the next
second
game I'm playing is Alan Wake.
one. Awesome.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to hear
So
your
many
thoughts
on my list now.
Maul is recusing himself.
Yeah, this is the only system on here that I am recusing myself from, because I have not, in all honesty, played a single game on the system. I don't own one. No one around me owns one, and and most of the games that when I kind of look over the list I see are otherwise that I would really be interested in playing are mostly on other systems already as well. So
That might be the last Xbox as we know it, from what they're
maybe
saying.
Maybe they're talking about a handheld.
Yeah.
For that.
Who knows? We can kill some time and say, hey, do you guys remember we didn't do when Nintendo had that thing where you'd swipe cards and it would put a game,
The e-reader.
into your system?
that.
Yeah. What was everyone's favorite game on that?
Super
Excitement.
Mario Brothers 3 extra levels.
Accused.
Oh God.
Golf.
Nintendo gets me every
Golf.
time.
Yep.
Every time. All right, Logan.
Okay.
The very last game in our
Yes.
massive list of truth.
Forza Horizon 5. Now, funny thing about this one is I played this on the Xbox One, but it released for the Xbox Series X. So it's really cool, I think, that they actually made it backwards compatible, which is, I guess, one of the benefits of the modern consoles being sort of interchangeable. Yeah, and a lot of the same things Jack said about Forza Horizon 3. I just love that it's a very unique driving game. Just being able to roam around the world in a car is so satisfying. And messing around with cars too, like, again, playing with friends is one of my favorite things to do with games. And we've done lots of like make wacky car like competitions and like custom matches. Like there are some crazy races we've built and raced.
It's a great game for that.
Yeah, it's just been a blast to play. It's one of my favorite driving games. Like I've got Mario Kart for the really like competitive races, and then like Forza is competitive too, but it's more about just like the roaming the world in a cool car vibe.
Chilling.
Yeah.
All right, wow. That was a massive list. So again,
We made it.
Yes, finally. We can finally put this behind us. So if you needed to know what the absolute best games were on any of these systems, you can check back part 1 through 3 for your oral pleasure. I got that word from Jack way back when. But I will also put a compilation of all of them together so you can put them on and go to sleep. I put long YouTube videos on and go to sleep. But Jack, do you have anything to say before we ride off into the sunset?
Oh boy. I'm still making my way through Avowed. I started playing Balatro on my PC, and that was a bad idea because now I do exactly what I did on my phone when I look at my PC, and I was like, I can play like one game of Balatro, and that turns into 5 games of Balatro. And I need to just keep Balatro to my phone. And that's so I'll shout out Balatro as if I haven't done that enough already.
Nice. And Maul.
I'd like to know if anyone out there in our audience went. Tell us about that big Tool concert that might be getting them sued here pretty soon, because I've heard conflicting accounts, and I want to know, like, is that Tool's Fire Festival, or are people exaggerating things? I don't know.
You were accusing myself. I'm too biased.
I've heard accounts both ways. You know, I know people might be a little salty if they had not the greatest time because it was a $2,700 ticket to get into the festival. It included airfare. It was like on an island in like Haiti or something like that.
Yeah, it included airfare, hotel. Like there are also like 4 other bands playing.
Yeah. But people are upset. They might be suing. I don't know. Don't know what to say. I might be biased as well, but I want to know. If anyone was there.
Technically, it's because they didn't play 100% unique sets. However, they only repeated 4 songs on the second set.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm biased. I shouldn't say anything.
Don't get wrapped up in the lawsuit break.
Yeah. Logan.
Yeah. So thank you so much for running my trailer again. That was so fun to share with everyone.
My pleasure. Our pleasure.
Yeah. I will be dropping a link in the self-promotion chat if you want to go back and watch it. And I'll be putting, like I said, updates about festival selections and like the YouTube community posts, as well as my Instagram, which is in the link of the video. And yeah, I think that's what I've got. In terms of other things going on, I watched a movie this week called Cloverfield, which was a fun watch.
Ooh,
I mean, if you haven't seen that one
I
before,
bet you like that.
oh, it was great. Yeah, I've got some movie ideas percolating because of it now. So, yeah.
That's always the best kind.
Mhm.
And Darria, what do you got for us?
So I got today, this morning, I actually got my tuition reimbursement approved through HR, so I can take a drone certification class and get my commercial license. So
Awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, so that class will be in June, and then after that, I'll be able to fly drones.
That's awesome.
Commercially.
Congratulations.
That's
really cool.
awesome.
So I'm excited for that, and yeah, just
Very useful.
yes.
It is.
Very much so.
very
I've
useful
also learned a
skill.
lot about like the legality and all of the codes and things like that regarding
It's always the
that
most
stuff.
fun part of filmmaking, the paperwork.
Ah.
Very
But,
necessary, though.
But yeah, so I'm excited about that. Won't happen for a few months yet, but at least it's all approved and set to go.
Nice.
cool.
Well, next week we have Shmup
Excellent.
Junkie on the show. If you haven't seen his YouTube channel, he's got lots of cool stuff. The 80s gaming in the 80s and 90s is really cool, as well as his best shmups on each system is really cool. And the week after that, we have Kaitor, who's got the wonderful multi-power solution for all the retro consoles that I'm super interested in, the Retro Tap. And we will see you same time next week on the Game Show.